adoration to Him as always. And I will, of course, should I say, unfailingly pray in the language of heaven. Some may misunderstand, some of them may try to misconstrue, but one thing is certain right now, in the presence of the Almighty God, Elohim, Adonai, El Shaddai in heaven, the angels are singing, worshiping, and praising the Most High with the very oldest language on the face of this very earth, the Igbo language. And that's how I'm going to pray. Ezi onye nwe anyị na Chineke nna nke pụrụ m ihe niile, Chukwu okike abịa ma bụ onye anyị na-efe na-agọzi aha nsọ ya, onye ọ bụla ya na-achị, onye mmụọ na mmadụ na-erubere isi, onye ọ bụla ya bụ ọkaka ụbọchị ndị ka anyị na-etuga eze ebube dị ngọzi, mmalite na ọgwụgwụ, ndị gboo wee tụọ gị ebighị ebi, onye nwe m, ụmụ gị wee gbakọọ n'ụwa niile iwe na ozi ọma nke gị onwe gị n'ezi ha site n'ọnụ mmadụ dị ndụ na nke ebere dị ngọzi. Anyị wee na-asị na onwe ihe ọbụla ka anyị nwe anyị bụ n'ihi na ọ bụ anụkpa akụ sọsọ ka mmadụ dị ndụ bụ ofu ụbọchị anyị ga-anwụ, maka na okwu nsọ gị na-adịghị ma ruo mgbe ebighị, n'ihi na okwu gị niile ga-abịarịrị na mmezu. Ọ bịa nwere Biafra ga-eji wee bịa na mgbe nke anyị. Anyị wee na-akpọkụ wee na-arịọ gị na-asị, lekwa ude nke anyị na-asụ n'akwa nke anyị na-ebe ka o metụta gị n'obi. Onye nwe m na Chineke nna nke igwe, biko dịka isi wee napụta ụmụ gị n'ọbụ n'Ijipt, kwetu wee wezuga ụmụ gị bụ ndị Biafra mgbe ekwensu bụ zuu nke mmadụ dị ndụ kere. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma, na-asị gị n'ime ọnọdụ anyị anyị ga-ekele ya ha nsọ gị, wee nye gị nsọpụrụ ụtọ na eji ama mgbe niile, n'ihi na anyị enweghị ịchụ ọzọ ewezuga gị. Anyị nwe anyị anaghị efe arụsị. Ọbịa mere iji wee na-agọzi nsọmụkwụ anyị niile. Ọbịa mere IPOB ji wee gbaa ngwọrọgwụ n'ụwa niile. Anyị anaghị atụ egwu mmadụ dị ndụ. Anyị wee na-eto gị eze ebube dị ngọzi, sị gị biko gbatara anyị ọsọ enyemaka. Ọ bụ naanị gị bụ onye anyị na-efe nwa na isi ala nye ka i wee napụta ndị gị n'ọbụ nke ekwensu. Anyị wee na-enye gị ofe na nsọpụrụ na ija mma, na-asị lekwa ka ndị iro anyị niile ka kasịsi wee baa ha ọnụ, ha wee taa hapụrụ ikomi ọzọ. Obodo ekwensu bụ zu ala ọkwa n'ihi eze ebube dị ngọzi. Anya ọnwa anyị bụ ụmụ gị wee na-akpọkwa ha nsọ gị, na-asị na ebe gị chi ọzọ ewezuga gị. Anyị wee na-aja gị mma wee na-eto gị, na-asị onye kere ihe niile kere eke mana wee onye kere na otuto niile na nsọpụrụ niile na ịja mma niile site n'ebighị ebi mmadụ onye bụ nke a na-ajọ gị. Ise ise ise. Having handed over our proceedings to heaven, we must therefore proceed unfailingly and very speedily to preach this very gospel that we have been mandated to preach.
Welcome, my amazing viewers. Thank you so much for joining me on my program once again. If you have not subscribed to my channel, please kindly subscribe to my channel. Click the notification bell so that you'll be notified each time I upload a video. You will be among the first to receive it. Thank you so much. And remember, for those who have subscribed, please, each time you watch my video, go to the comment section and leave your comments. Make your contribution. Say it the way you feel it. It's all welcome. You can criticize if you so desire, but do it constructively so that we can learn from one another. That is why we are here, talking about the plight of the people in the contraption called Nigeria. That is what we do. We do not preach hate speech. We are not talking against anybody. We're not preaching hate against anybody. We're not demonizing any tribe. But we are saying the truth. The truth and nothing but the truth, exactly the way it is, without being politically correct. If you are the truthful one, you're going to enjoy the channel. But if you're one of those who try to cover evil, you're not going to be comfortable here. We say it the way it is, the truth and nothing but the truth. Remember, today is the 100 days of the prayer. 100 days of the prayer that we are doing, the 150 days prayer that Ashun Nadikan started with us, preparing him for what is happening now. We are still in that prayer, on the process of that prayer. We have completed 100 days today, remaining 50 days. If you have not yet joined, please join the prayer. Join the prayer. This is the only way you can listen closely to Ashun Nadikan. I say it again. This is the only way you can know the true message when it is coming from Ashun Nadikan. Pray along with him so that your spirit can connect with his. You will not be deceived. You will not be distracted if you are praying. There are a lot of distractions out there. A lot of people focusing on irrelevant things, talking about things that does not matter. But for those of us who are Biafrans, truly, sincerely, Biafrans from heart, you can't be distracted if you're praying along. You can't be distracted. We can't afford to be distracted. Not now. Not when our spirit, Amazing Dadikano, is in the hand of the enemies. We know that he is going to come out very, very soon. Sooner than we expect. You can see already the prayer is doing magic from all angles, from all sections. From everything that you are seeing happening, they are as a result of the prayer that we are making. We are not just praying and fold our hand. We pray and work. The legal team is doing their job. There are so many other underground things that are happening, are going through that you don't know about. And very, very soon, before you know it, our Sunda will be out. Today, we are going to talk about the issue of ethnic profiling. Each time you see the Janjaweed using this very word, ethnic profiling, they talk about profiling the Fulanis, that they are not. This is just another scam they are using to douse the tension. This is another scam they are using to confuse us. The media, most especially, are using this very language of ethnic profiling. How do you talk about ethnic profiling when it is obvious and very clear that these are the people committing the crime? It is not profiling. When you want to talk about ethnic profiling, the people that are supposed to complain about ethnic profiling are the Biafrans. Because Biafrans has not committed any crime. Only because they are Biafrans, that is why they are being denied posts in that Janjaweed government. They are being denied so many things in that contraption called Nigeria. You go to police station, you'll be locked up just because you're a Biafran. You go to business to do a business, they will not allow you to prosper just because you're a Biafran. You want to go and apply for anything, apply for a job, you will not be employed for a job just because you're a Biafran. This is where ethnic profiling plays a role. But all this while, the Biafrans have been suffering this very thing. Suffering ethnic profiling. Denying them their right. You see many Biafrans, they run away from that very contraption and stay abroad. They are in abroad, doing very, very well. Most of them are working in the government abroad. Most of them are politicians abroad. Most of them are doing exploit abroad in so many countries. Biafrans are all over the world. You cannot imagine the number of Biafrans that are abroad because they have been denied their rights in the country of Nigeria due to ethnic profiling. They have not committed any crime. They have not done anything wrong. They have not kidnapped anybody, neither have they done anything wrong. A civil war was fought. Civil war that was imposed on them. They didn't choose to fight civil war. They have been the ones holding the one Nigeria, making sure it works. That is why they are in every state in Nigeria. There is no state in Nigeria where you will not see somebody from a Biafra land, because they want to unite that very country. But doing all those things they are doing, they are not yet accepted. They are not accepted. Instead, they are being demonized because of their hard work. They are being demonized because they refuse to be slaves. They are being demonized because they refuse to beg. They are being demonized because they work hard to earn whatever they have. That is why they are being hated. The Fulanis push out this hatred. They push it out. They didn't leave it within themselves. They push it out to other tribes. Unknowingly, unintentionally, you see some other tribes buying into that very idea. When they see somebody who is a Biafran, they're going to look you for two. And more especially the Igbos. More especially the Igbo Biafrans. You see somebody who is not an Igbo Biafran, he'll be looking at you with different eyes. You have not committed any crime against him. You have not done any business with him. You have not done anything wrong. He'll be looking at you with different eyes. Because of ethnic profiling, which is what the Janjaweed instituted. And who was in charge of this ethnic profiling against the Igbos? It was the Fulanis. From Ottoman Danfodio to Ahmadu Bello. Ahmadu Bello institutionalized this very hatred, institutionalized this very ethnic profiling. Nobody is talking about it. No media is discussing it. No human being is defending it. The ethnic profiling has done to the extent that you see some people, some Igbos have resorted to the answering two English names. Some are even afraid to answer Igbo name, because when you are answering Igbo name, you'll be denied certain things, certain office. You apply for a job, they see your name and Igbo name, you will not be employed. An Igbo name, you will not be promoted. An Igbo name, you will not be allowed to run for certain position. It have resulted so many people, many Igbos answering English name. In abroad, an Igbo name, you have a case called the embassy, they will not listen to you. This is what we call, this is where ethnic profiling is playing a role against a nation, and nobody speaks about it. Nobody speaks about it. Nobody talks about it. This is what the Igbo Biafrans have been suffering for a very long time. Nobody speaking about it. But now, thank God, thank Chukwu Kabema, who has sent our Spirit Martin Nandekam, who has come to do a great and wonderful work to wake up every indigenous tribe that contraction called Nigeria, to change the narrative. Today, the narrative have changed. Mazen Nandekana have opened the eyes of people to see the truth about what is going on in Nigeria, that the only enemy that Nigeria has is the Fulani Janjaweed. And today, every tribe have woken up. They know, even the Hausas, they know that the single enemy who is trying to kill everybody is the Fulani Janjaweed. They have been doing it for a very long time. People don't take note. They impose themselves upon everybody. You see Ahmadu Bello, when he was making a statement, he accused Igbos of being domineering. accuse Igbos of not accepting to be a slave. That is the only crime we have committed. Igbos have never been domineering, we have never conquered anybody, neither have we taken anybody's land by force from history up to date. But yet, somebody came out to make that accusation. After hearing from that man, today, thank God that Tasula Masinani can have changed the narrative. Today, what you are seeing today is not ethnic profiling of the Fulani herdsmen. It is revelation of what the Fulanis are. Calling Fulanis by their exact name. But you see the media of Nigeria, instead of saying the truth, they are calling it ethnic profiling. When you talk about the headers, the people who are the headers in Nigeria are the Fulanis. There is no way you can be able to paint it. That if you see any Igbo person who claims to be a header, if you see any Igbo person who claims to be a header, it must be that something is wrong with him, or he is wrong with something, or something is disturbing him his head. If you have Igbo headers in Igbo state where they say they have headers, they are not even up to one. They are not even up to two. They might not even be up to five. They will not be up to 5. So when you mention headers, people who we know to be headers in Nigeria are Fulanis. Even the Hausas are not headers. The people who know to be headers are, and that is the obvious truth. These same Fulanis were the people who are moving from places to places. They can move from northern part of Nigeria to the southern, to the western part. And they are the people who are carrying AK-47 to kill people. What are they looking for? Grabbing of land. In every places where these headers have killed people and taken over land, go there and investigate. They are Fulanis. It is Fulanis that kill people, drive them away from their land and occupy it. Even rename the land. Somebody have come on national television to speak about this. Somebody have come on national television to speak about it. I will check for the video. If I can get the video, I'll play the video for you to see.
My friend Honorable has repeated the same mistakes that the government has been making. They go after the messenger instead of dealing with the message. The message is very clear. Buhari has, through his ways, forced several separatist movements in the country. Buhari's employment of nepotism as policy is the reason why you now have all sections of the country saying they are no more interested in this issue. The most problematic one is security. 2 weeks ago, I went to somewhere in Katsina. Specifically, I went to Damusa, I went to Sapana, I went to Masari, I went to Dusuma, I also went to Kankara. In all these places, Fulani bandits are killing Hausas in multitudes and government is not there. This problem also replicates itself in several parts of our country, and the government has not allowed a prosecution of all those people that have been killing Nigerians all over. Today, as we're talking, Buhari is still trying to seize ancestral lands so that he can find lands by force to resettle Fulani refugees escaping from Mali. Instead of him and the other West African leaders to come together and try to implement the 2015 peace agreement, no. All he's been doing is using one scheme after the other to try to seize ancestral land. He said grazing reserve, we said no. He said the cow colony, we said no. He said he wants land for Ruga, we said no. Now again, he is talking about consolidation of all the streams and waters, and everywhere we have waterways, plus 6 kilometers of land therefrom, so that he can have land and water to be able to use to resettle refugees. This is not the right way to rule this country.
Yep. This is what is happening. It has been going on for a very long time. So why do you have to come and talk about ethnic profiling of the Fulanis? Whatever you said about Fulanis is what they're doing. When you talk about bandits, Fulanis are the bandits. When you talk about it, is the Fulanis and nobody else. Talk about the terrorists. Go and investigate who are the Boko Haram members of Boko Haram are Fulanis too. The ISWAP you talk about, they are the Fulanis. So when somebody is coming about to talk about the Fulanis, preventing Fulanis to enter their bushes or get into it is not ethnic profiling. What we are saying is the truth and nothing but the truth. The exact situation. This is not ethnic profiling. If you want to talk about ethnic profiling, the people who are suffering ethnic profiling are the Biafrans, mainly the Igbo Biafrans. But nobody is speaking about it. Instead, they are defending the killers, the foreigners, whom we know to be foreigners. Thank God today, they cannot even hide anymore. They can't hide anymore. It doesn't matter how they try to cover it, they can't hide anymore. Even the governor of Bauchi State came on national television when he was talking about the life of the Fulanis. That these people are Fulanis everywhere you see them. They don't have a base. They claim to be Igbo, they claim to be Efik, they claim to be... These people are not Nigerians. It is not hidden. That is their attitude. Sometimes they try to deny them, but when it gets hot, they cannot deny themselves anymore. It is very clear that the people causing the insecurity in the contractual called Nigeria, they are the people who want to grab land, they are the people who want to dominate every other tribe and every other region. They are the people who want to take over the country as a whole. So when you talk about it, people say it is not ethnic profiling. What is happening is that the killers in Nigeria are Fulanis. The headers are Fulanis, they are the killer headers. That is why you see when we are talking about open grazing, it is the Fulanis that carry it on their head, shouting and speaking against open grazing, that even some indigenous tribes in the north do not support that very ethnic grazing, open grazing. Even indigenous tribe in the north says that their Muslim Islam does not support open grazing. I would like you to watch this very video of the governor of Katsina State, where the so-called Janjaweed come from. The late Buhari, his own state. The person that is playing the script, his own state, where he comes from, what the governor have to say about the Fulanis and the killing that they do. Then you will find out that there is nobody profiling Fulanis. They are the ones committing the crimes you are seeing in Nigeria, the insecurity, the killings, the terrorism that happened in Nigeria is superheaded and engineered, financed by the Fulanis. Watch this video.
The bandits and their collaborators to acquire means of communication. The governor today inaugurated a 13-member state monitoring and enforcement committee on security challenges containment under the order he signed 6 days ago. The governor had signed an executive order banning the movement of cattle from the state to other parts of the country amidst several other decisions that is made, when the governor also backed his decision by the section 176 of subsection 2 of the Nigerian Constitution. So let's get to speak with the governor, who knows where the shoe pinches in terms of some of the decisions that he's made in the face of the banditry that we've seen in the past few weeks or months in Katsina State. The executive governor of Katsina State, Governor Aminu Masari, he joins us from Katsina. Thank you, Excellency, for joining us tonight. I must condone with your people and your government over some of the things that we have seen, the killings that we have seen by these bandits. With some of the efforts that you have made in the past few months, and in fact, at the start of your second term in office, the kind of overtures that you have employed in reaching out to some of these bandits, and some of the measures that you have taken recently also, legally speaking. Would you say any of those have worked?
Well, I think they are working. All the efforts we are making, we have made some progress, but we have not progressed as much as we had wanted, because our intention is to have normalcy return to our communities and villages. But unfortunately, due to the nature of bandits and the way they operate, they don't have any umbrella that they operate. They operate independent of each group, and they can have over 100 groups in the forest, all made up of bandits, kidnappers, rapists, and armed robbers. So we are employing all measures necessary to contain and curtail this situation before this year runs out. We can't afford to allow this situation to continue. And we are taking all necessary measures, not only in Kaduna, but all other governors in the northwestern state, including Niger, to have effective measures in place, like the one that collectively all of us have by shutting down communication, markets, movement of vehicles, especially those carrying animals, movement of motorcycles, closure of filling stations. And we have gone further through the committee to look at our entire state and close all those filling stations that are located in the forest area. You travel from here to any town or village, you see petrol station in an isolated place. Who is it serving? What is it serving? So we suspect that those kind of filling stations are dispensing fuel to bandits, and we intend to close all of them. Measures will continue to roll as we make progress day by day. And in fact, we have started to see some measure of progress because movement of bandits in large groups has drastically reduced to 3 or 4 motorcycles. And we hope as the measures bite harder, we will see that movement becomes impossible. However, we know it is causing some hardships to some of our people living in some places, but we appeal to them to bear with us, to bear with the government, that what we are doing in the best interest of the generality of the people. And from the reports we are having, the majority of the people are so far happy with the situation and giving maximum cooperation.
So, I mean, first and foremost, I'd like to know what you think about some of these decisions and the measures that you have taken and effect on the livelihoods of people of your state. For example, the shutting down of some of these businesses, the filling stations that you have talked about. It definitely will affect the livelihoods of people. Have you thought about that, and what are you doing to that in that respect?
We are not totally shutting all the filling stations. Like the frontline local governments, we said 2 filling stations will operate. And in those filling stations, nobody will sell fuel in a jerrycan or in a gallon. So we're not completely shutting down. Like I said earlier, of course, there may be some hardships, but certainly it's better now to take these hardships in order to restore normalcy. We have discovered, and we have at least some of these filling stations that are dispensing fuel in jerrycans. And if you could remember, only 2 or 3 days ago, the police command with the DPR had to close also some stations because some discovered dispensing just in over 60 25-liter jerrycans. So this is so common. So the simple reason, if we have filling stations in the urban centers, those designated urban centers, I think those people can go and buy, and we cannot afford anybody in Golf or in a bus or in a private car having more than 5,000 liters of fuel, 5,000 naira worth of fuel. Then when he comes back again on the same day, certainly we will refuse. We ask him to refuse because what is he doing? Where has he gone? If he's a commercial transporter, we have already directed that all commercial buses and taxis will be painted in Kaduna latest by 15th of September. Failure to do that will arrest anybody conveying passengers. And we are also centralizing areas where passengers should be collected or dropped. So I think we are taking certain measures. Like I said, yeah, they are painful, but they are necessary.
For some of the lawyers who have taken up and looked at closely this executive order that you've signed, and in the statement that you released, of course, that executive order took effect on the 31st of August. And you backed your decision by the effect of Section 176 subsection 2 of the Constitution, which empowers you as a governor to protect the lives of the citizens of your state. But some lawyers have argued that it is the House of Assembly or the National Assembly, as the case may be, that is empowered to make laws, and the executive orders should come or empower the laws of the House of Assembly or the National Assembly. In this case, how do you relate to that argument, which, of course, they brought the issue of human rights into effect here, when you've said there is a ban on movement on some routes in the state?
Ganga, you see, lawyers will always argue. We are taking extraordinary measures to save lives and properties of our people. So, and I'm sure we have the full backing of our State House of Assembly to take measures that will restore peace, harmony, and our lives the way they were before. We never said that the intention is to totally eliminate criminality. It has never been done before, and we are not deceiving ourselves that we can do it now. But the situation should be brought under control in such a way and manner that people will continue with their daily lives unhindered. With regards to what lawyers say, well, all the statements I signed, the citation of the provisions of the Constitution was also made by a lawyer, a permanent bench member, or what we call a member of the bench, permanent bencher, and who is the Attorney General of the state. And I'm sure he is fully aware of the constitutional provision. And we have also consulted with the House of Assembly. They know what we are doing. And I'm sure anytime, any day, they will support us. And it's nothing like infringing on anybody's fundamental rights. I think you are right. Stop at where somebody's right starts. So are you saying that it is okay under fundamental rights, we allow bandits to fuel, to carry arms, to do all sorts of things that are unnatural and against the law? I think there is nothing against what we have done or what we are doing that against the fundamental rights of any individual or group.
Governor, are you considering to put in place a law banning open grazing in Katsina State to entrench ranching, if that is the way you think will work for animal husbandry?
You see, we already have started. Like I said, the federal government has given us 6.2 billion. And as a state government, we are also investing 6.2 billion. The objective is to have Fulani stay in one place. I think roaming about, I think is not the best, and they should not be encouraged. And in fact, for us, even it's un-Islamic. So what are we talking about? Do you have animals that you cannot feed, that they have to stretch over other people's land or on somebody's farm before they can feed? And you say that that is right? I don't think it is right. I don't think it is right. And certainly once we finish putting in place places where grazing of all animals, both cattle and ruminants, will take place, so the issue of anybody roaming about should be a thing of the past.
But I mean, the question I was doing, I mean, you're making those efforts physically speaking, but legally speaking, are you putting in place, for example, what we've seen in southern part of the country, where the governors are putting in place the anti-open grazing laws? Is that going to come into effect in Katsina?
We intend to have a law banning unnecessary roaming. But before we do that, we will make provisions where the animal will stay. I think the situation in southern part of the country is slightly different from the situation here in northern part of the country. Most of these cattle rearers, herders, majority of them are coming from this northern part of the country. So for us to have a control, you should make a law that will be followed, not a law that will not be followed. So for us to come up with a law, first of all, we'll put the structures on ground, then we can have the law that will back up the structures so that nobody moves or roams about.
Let's deal with a matter that has caused a lot of curiosity amongst a lot of people. These elements that are killing people in the name of banditry, do you perhaps have an idea of who these people are? You mentioned that they have different groups, but I know that you've made an overture to some of them to reach out to them, to in fact grant amnesty to some of them. Who are these people in the real sense of it, Governor?
They are the same people like me who speak the same language like me, who profess the same religious beliefs like me. So what we have here on ground, these bandits, they are not aliens. They are people we know. They are people that have been living with us for hundreds of years. The infiltration we have from some West African countries and North African countries are also people of the Fulani extraction. Majority of those involved in this banditry are Fulanis, whether it is palatable or not, but that's the truth. I'm not saying 100% of them are Fulani, but the majority of them are. And these are people who live in the forest, with their main occupation is rearing of cattle. Probably over time, their fortunes dwindle with the climate change, lack of access to education, both Islamically and Western, also aggravated the situation. The fall of Gaddafi, instability in many West and North African countries, saw the influx of arms and ammunition, accompanied with illegal drugs and intoxicants that polluted the environment and that made them what they are. And I think it is our responsibility to cure this. And we in Katsina, together with all the governors of Northwestern State, we are determined to cure this.
If some of these people are identified, how then is it difficult to hold them down, to prosecute them? For example, if you seem to, because in some parts of the South here, some of these people are not known to those whom they attack in their farms or whom they kidnap. They are alien to a lot of people living in the southern part of the country. But you said the situation is slightly different up north. So how difficult is it to prosecute some of these known bandits?
It's not about the difficulty in prosecuting them. The difficulty in accessing where they are. They live in the forest. The terrain is very bad, and reaching them in the forest and rocky areas is also very difficult, especially, like we said, the necessary equipment to reach up to where they are not readily available. So I think with the help of technology and what we have seen the Nigerian Air Force is trying to do, I think we will be able to reach some of the camps of major leaders among them and really bring them to book. And I think without divulging more, the Air Force, the military, the effort we are making here has started recording some successes with regard to reaching out to the most difficult areas. You know, there are a lot of areas that are ungoverned because of the forest area. So access to them become very difficult, especially in this rainy season, but it's not impossible. And I think using technology, who will be able to reach wherever they are and fish them out.
You are the chief security officer of the state, so you might help give some insights into this line of reasoning that I want to put forward. One will wonder that if they are living in the forest, is it possible to rain on them fire, brimstone of the military power in terms of bomb and missiles on them since they are in the forest, and clear them out once and for all, kill them in that place and not allow them to come out and kill innocent Nigerians? Is that possible, Governor?
I think it is possible. It is possible. And I think the military, by acquiring more hardware, more sophistication, especially the Air Force, will be able to strike at where they are. And they have started doing that, striking at their base camps. But you know, they go in the caves. We have long and big caves in the forest under rocky conditions. So sometimes they hide when they hear the noise of aircraft. But we hope with the new aircraft arriving that are noiseless, we'll be able to reach them before. But the biggest problem with in our airports and everywhere are the informants. Our biggest problem with dealing with this situation are the informants. And they are everywhere. They are in the market, they are in the airports. Any plane that comes or goes, they inform. They are in the villages when they see a truck of military or police. They inform. When they see vigilante, they inform. The problem is the support the informers are given to the bandits. It's also empowering bandits with information. But luckily enough, I think a lot has been achieved in terms of trying to nab these informants. And once we will be able to cripple the informers and form of information, that's why when you take up the networks, the informant can no longer inform. And the armed forces, they have a way of communicating. So it's also another way which you...
So, yeah. So, Governor, you will love... Yeah, you will love the NCC to shut down telecommunications in Katsina, just like it did in Zamfara. Would you be advocating for such too?
I think we have already written. We are not advocating the total shutdown in Katsina State, but certainly we have about 13 local governments bordering the forest area that should be shut, so that it gives us opportunity to operate without informants.
Okay, then, that's specific enough. We know what your intentions are in that respect, so it's clear. Give us a sense of what you think, because I have about 2 questions before we go. We have a few minutes left on this segment of the program. Give us a sense of what is going on your mind. I know it's been some very difficult time for you handling some of these issues. At some point, these notorious bandits were asking for conditions for peace. At some point, you said that it costs millions of naira to be able to provide them an amnesty program. But it does look like the amnesty program did not work. Do you regret ever stretching forward a hand of amnesty to these bandits?
You see, I don't regret. The only thing I say with the benefit of hindsight, I wouldn't have done it, because at that time we thought, and it was true when we started in 2016, there were leaders. But gradually all the leaders were eliminated. That saw the failure of that first round. The second round that was initiated from Zamfara after 2019 election did not even see the light of the day. We tried, we reached, then we realized, then to whom are you talking? Because they don't have an umbrella. They are not pushing for any ideological beliefs. They are not pushing for any religious belief. They are simply bandits, criminals, and thieves. So, and anybody who owns a gun, if they become 2 and 3, they have a camp, they have a junk, and they start recruitment. When they get money from either cattle rustling or kidnapping, So the reality is there is nobody there in the forest that can discuss any peace. For me, anybody in the forest is a potential criminal. So I think he should be dealt with as such.
Finally, before we go, you've asked your people that they should not be jittery in the face of the attacks of this banditry. They should stand up and defend themselves. Are you asking them to carry arms to defend themselves, or what kind of self-defense are you talking about in the face of the law?
Benga, if somebody comes to slap you, will you not raise your hand to protect your face? If he comes with a stick, will you not take a stick? So the reality is, we are saying that people should stand up. If we are talking about the police, in a population of 80 million, we have not up to, or not more than 3,000 police. Divided by 80 million with 3,000 police. You come to a policeman to 260,000 minimum. And what is this? What do they have in terms of AK-47, AK-40, pump action, and all other means of confronting the bandits? What do they have? Already the people in the locality, they have their guns. They have guns that they are using to defend and protect themselves. What we say, I say what I say, and I stand by it. That's my opinion. People should defend themselves.
Okay, so I was just asking for specifics. The Firearms Act states that no person.
I have been very specific. I have been very specific.
So you're asking citizens to own guns and carry ammunition against these bandits?
If you come with a stick, I will come with a stick. So I will pay you in your own coin. What are we talking about?
All right, Your Excellency, let's end on this note. Just have about 40 seconds to close. You just concluded a fresh round of security meeting with the security chiefs. We understand that you met also with the Inspector General of Police, just in about 30 seconds. Any solution in sight? Any new thing that will gladden the hearts of your people in the state that came out of that meeting?
Benga, there are things you should know, and there are things the general public should know, and there are things that you should not know, because if you know, they are no longer secret. So if we discuss what to do, I tell you now on the network, well, everybody, including the bandits, are listening, including their sympathizers are listening, including their lawyers are listening. What am I doing? Certainly, we discussed many issues, some new things, some new approaches, but for the details, it's between us.
We should be expecting some brutal action from the government and the security forces. Is that it? That should be the message, isn't it?
Exactly.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, the Executive Governor of Katsina State, Right Honorable Aminu Bello Masari. Thank you so much indeed for your time tonight.
Thank you, Benga.
Appreciate it.
After watching and seeing this governor, will you still be doubting? Will somebody still be coming up and be telling you about ethnic profiling? They use all those language to try to water the whole situation down. They use those language to force us to use a different language that is not right. They use those languages to convince us to say what is not right, but we will never buy to it. We will always focus on that which is the truth. The people who are killing the indigenous tribes are the Fulanis. The people who are trying to subjugate the people are the Fulanis. The people who are trying to impose themselves on every tribe in the country of Nigeria is Fulani. The people who want to dominate every tribe in Nigeria and take over Nigeria, Islamize Nigeria and Fulanize Nigeria are the Fulanis. They are the trouble. They are the enemies. We cannot stop saying that. That is the truth and nothing but the truth. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter how you feel. It doesn't matter what you think within yourself. You can be crazy. You can be angry. It doesn't change the truth. That is the truth. The truth that even them themselves are confessing about it, they are confirming it. That is why we're calling for everybody to stand up and speak up. Use your platform, no matter how small, no matter how big your platform is, use it and speak up. Speak about the plight of the people. Speak about what is happening so that people will be redeemed. Enough is enough. May Chukwu Okabia guide and protect all Biafrans. May Chukwu Okabia strengthen all Biafrans. May Chukwu Okabia must strengthen everyone that is fighting for freedom in that country called Nigeria. Wherever you are, join this struggle. Speak up the best way you can. There are a lot of actions that are going on for the struggle of Biafra and Oduduwa. A lot of actions are going on for people of that country called Nigeria to be free. Indigenous tribe. Join the protest that is going to be held in USA, in Washington, D.C. The protest that is being held by Biafrans and Oduduwa in Washington, D.C. It is going to happen on the 30th. It is going to be 3 days straight. That 3 days, wherever you are in the United States, go to Washington, D.C. and join the protest. This is the time we have to show them that there are people who own that very contraction called Nigeria. The Oduduwas and the Biafrans must be free. It doesn't matter what they do. They will kill us. We will kill them. At the end of the day, Biafra will come. Oduduwa will emerge. Every indigenous tribe in that country called Nigeria will surely be free. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are watching from. And remember blessed. May Chukwu Okabia give us good health. Strengthen him and bring him back to us very, very soon. We are waiting for him so that we can celebrate. Thank you so much for watching wherever you are watching from. And remember blessed. Bye-bye. See you again on the next video.